you for your approbation. You have excellent taste. Firstly, I must apologise about my appearance. Owing to a slight financial hiatus, I could not afford a ticket to travel here tonight by steam locomotion. I had to walk it. A journey, my friends, best described as a stroll around the very perimeter of Hades itself. Fingers of cold mountain mist curled in treachery around my stout Gannett's gaiters. As I toiled heavily across the bleak plateau of the mountain range, a sullen biting wind blew the snow flurries into a modern fandango of white flake fury. From behind, an outcrop of age-pitted stones loomed an ill-painted door. Crying sanctuary through cracked lips, I lurched forward and banged painfully on the door. The door opened to reveal the most enchanting little girl that I've ever seen. My child, I croaked. May I speak to your father? The winsome gamin gazed at me and said, Daddy isn't here. Then, child, I explained, may I have words with your dear mother? A troubled look came across her features. Her bottom lip trembled. A fleeting shadow of sadness crossed her features. She said, Mummy isn't here either. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I too could not believe. I railed inwardly at the perfidy of parents who could abandon such a delightful waif. Leave this child alone in such a small, cramped, gloomy house, in the teeth of a ferocious storm, in this midst of desolation. I could contain myself no longer. Sinking to my knees, I grasped the child to my snow-powdered cape. I said, fear not, my child, elfin creature of pure delight. Fear not, for you are no longer alone. And she grabbed her rag dolly very close to her little pinafore, and she said, it's not the house, it's the laboratory. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the works of a tragic actor, I should like to introduce myself. The name is Les Dawson. It's not my real name, it's a stage name. I was actually christened Friday Dawson. Because when Father saw me for the first time, he turned to Mother and said, I think we better call it a day. I made such an impact on my parents' lives. Before I was born, Father had a nasty habit of running off and leaving Mother for months on end. And when I came on the scene, they gazed at me in the crib, held hands and ran off together. Such was the pattern of my earlier years. I seldom speak of my childhood unless somebody's buying the drinks. It was not a happy time. Is that a violin? No, it isn't. It's the frustrated wail of a Dr. Tom. Yes. You think you've known tragedy? For a start, I wasn't expecting. Mother was firmly convinced she was going in hospital to have a boil lance. Looking back in retrospective thought, I must have looked a mess because the first job my father did when they brought me home was put shutters on my pram. He made no secret of the fact that he didn't like me. He used to play some rotten tricks on me. Yes. Like telling me for years the gas meter was a piggy bank. Mummy was short-sighted. And she would persist in keeping putting talcum powder on my face. Between you and I, I've often shuddered to think what she did with me dummy. It wasn't easy for my parents. We were a big family, a lot of children. In fact, there was so many wet nappies in the kitchen, there was a rainbow in the lobby. But there is to posterity one iota that he left, which will never die. And that was the fact that Father was a wonderful mountaineer, famous for once having been trapped 23,000 feet at the side of Mount Everest on a 2-inch ledge, carrying his lame mule to safety. On the back of a plasterer's hob. Face it, dear friends, you and I would have panicked. He didn't, he fell off. Some people appreciate my work. This letter arrived in the dressing room not so long ago, tied with pink ribbon to a coping stone. Little Mo Peepers lost her sheep and don't know where to find them. What piffle! Because you know where she could find them, she was in a meadow with simple sound. And it wasn't just it was over the house! What the world is now is blah blah blah. Oh, stop this. Every time I put these glasses on, a hideous doppelganger takes over. This is the letter. It's very emotive. It will move you to tears. It's very simply, dear Mr. Dawson. Look the way she spelled dear. D-E-A-R. You have done more for me than any specialist could ever hope. For years I have suffered from acute insomnia. My nights in bed were a restless misery. Sleep, the soothing balm, eluded me. I've had treatment all over the world, in Europe, Zurich, Rill, Tamworth. To no avail. But you, dear Mr. Dawson, you have cured me. I saw you on the good old days and I couldn't keep my eyes open. Somber music, please. What a wonderful violinist. He can play till the cows come home. And it sounds as though they've arrived. Some years ago, ladies and gentlemen, I went through a traumatic period in my life. I teetered on the very abyss of total despair. Dame Fortune had deserted me. I was so unlucky. I bought some bananas once and when I peeled them, they were empty. Yes. I remember once I backed a horse in the Grand National and it fell in the paddock. And then the wife, she'd had enough. She ran off with the fella next door and I did miss him. I I became a coward. I fled the concrete carnival we call city, and I sought sanctuary in the country. I remember that I wandered through a valley of timeless serenity, heather-clad hills and wind-rippled meadows, stretched in languor towards a forest of stately elms, within whose beckoning greenery feathered choristers trilled on high in a cacophony of praise to the ultimate architect. Darting minnows in a chuckling brook escorted me to an old Tudor cottage that knelt by the side of a spilling orchard. The cottage had a garden of wondrous beauty to behold, strutting tulips and wild violets, highly scented honeysuckle and trailing jasmine, that jostled in a confused riot of colour towards an herbaceous border, where I espied an elderly lady in a faded velvet dress who was stooped, tending to a rain-bruised marigold. I doffed my cap in the manner born, and said, "Madam, what is the secret of your wonderful garden?" She looked at me with a face that was the colour of the autumn sky, and said very simply, "Horse muck." Of course, the things have improved since then. In fact, my home life is now marvellous. This morning, in fact, the wife gave me breakfast in bed. It slid off the plate when she threw it. I didn't mind. I found there was something strangely erotic about a grilled kipper on quilt. I know why she was annoyed. I'd spilled hot cocoa down the front of her nightdress. Served me right for wearing it. She was crouched in the doorway, bristling like a frustrated warthog. She had a towel round her head and she had a mud pack on her face. She looked like a bilious Gunga Din. I don't know why she bothers, because if beauty's skin deep, the wife's going through life inside out. She undressed me the night without drawing the bedroom curtains, and a peeping Tom across the road gave himself up. Time and time again, I've asked myself, why did I marry the Gorgon? I'd no need to, you know. I could have let her father shoot me. And to think that once there was a great romance in my life. Her name was Agatha Boulderbottom. She had 2 sisters, but they died of embarrassment. I met her on a fun fair in the Tunnel of Love. She was digging it. To me, she was the very embodiment of everything I ever sought in womanhood. She had no figure, she was thin. I don't know why she wore a brassiere. I've seen bigger lumps in oatmeal. I remember we went to a fancy dress ball. She pulled her purple knickers over her head and won first prize as a bruised damson. But our love was not meant to be. I took her to a gay French restaurant. A gay French restaurant in Huddersfield called the Chez Bagum. The menu was all in French. I ordered Choisseau à la Chotardie Provinciale. The waiter said, "You can't have that, it's the band." So I had cod and chips. Agatha didn't like fish. I said, "Will you have a tongue salad?" She said, "I never eat anything from an animal's mouth." So she had an egg. With the light of the candle on the table between us, I could tell she was visibly moved when I told her of my love. I bent across the candle to kiss her lips. She snatched her head away angrily and I fell on the candle. It took the head waiter 15 minutes to get the wick from up my nose. When I looked up with wax on my face, she'd gone. Never saw her again, but I heard that she became a welder in a trifle factory. Apparently, while playing crib with the foreman, she overbalanced and fell into a vat of lukewarm raspberry jelly. I can only hope that somewhere Agatha is set for life. And so to all young lovers everywhere, seize the moment. Seize the moment for your passion. Let not destroy your pursuit. But all I can say to you everywhere is, get stuck in!